I'm a scientist. I love the cultural world. I love the natural world. I think it's a very common human characteristic to just kind of want to reshape, create, and modify your own environment. I've always liked making stuff since I was really young. And I found now, archaeology can be very dry and technical, and there's a lot of parts of it that are creative, but it uses a different part of your brain. So this is a way to do something different, think about something different, shut down, shut off for a little while, and create something new that didn't exist before. I would put together things with metal a long time ago before I had the capacity to weld, so it's more limited because you have to use bolts and rivets and that sort of thing. I have nobody teaching me, so I either try to learn by looking at other people's pictures or I just figure it out on my own. For me, there's a lot of trial and error time, which is productive, especially if it ends up in me learning to do something that I couldn't do before. I just took the plunge and went out and bought myself a welder and succeeded in not killing myself when you first turn it on, and just kind of took it from there. I've always been fascinated with dinosaurs since I was a little kid. If I wasn't an archaeologist, I would probably be a paleontologist or something like that. First big piece that I welded was the Triceratops out there. I'd pick up my daughter from school and we would go drive behind the one of the auto repair places because they would throw out their scrap every day, and whatever they had, shock absorbers and brake rotors and stuff, I would just throw it in the trunk. We called it the Triceratops pile, and I just kept accumulating things. And I look at it now and I cringe because it's so crude, but at the same time, I feel like it's kind of important for my own kind of development as an artist. Making something is not the end of its transformation. The rust continues, things change color. Putting it out in the yard and letting it kind of keep going on its merry way, I think, is part of the process. And a lot of these things I've made with pieces of stuff that I have memories attached to. It reminds me of, every single time I look at this piece or that piece, I think, oh, I remember that trip when I got that. Somebody asked me if I would make them an owl, for commission. When I started making this, and I realized that it was making me really nervous to try to make something that somebody else was going to like, whether they would like it or not, and then I turned that off and I said, you know what, I'm just going to learn how to make an owl. I'm going to make my own owl, and I'm going to have fun doing it, and then we'll see if I want to make another one or not. In some ways it's frustrating that I don't know how to do these things, but I also really like the feeling of figuring out how to do it by myself, on my own, doing it my way. Nobody's giving me a grade, nobody's reviewing my work. I don't have a blueprint, I have an end product in mind, but how you get there, that journey of going from stuff that is junk to something that is not, I think that's the fun part.